Some players always seem to be in the right place. The ball goes wide and they're already moving. The ball goes down the line and they were already there, and you watch them and think they're just faster, or more athletic, or they got lucky. But that's not what's happening. They're reading the shot before it happens. Not guessing. Reading. There's a specific set of signals that every player gives away before they hit the ball. Signals that tell you the direction, the pace, and sometimes even the spin. And once you train your eyes to see them, tennis starts to feel like you have a half second more than everyone else. That extra half second changes everything. Here's exactly what to look for. 1. Stop watching the ball and start watching the player. This one goes against everything you've ever been told. From your first lesson to your most recent practice, the instruction has always been the same. Watch the ball, track the ball, eyes on the ball, and that advice is correct, up to a point. Here's the thing. Once the ball leaves your racket and crosses to your opponent's side, tracking it with your eyes gives you almost no useful information. You already know roughly where it's going. Your opponent is going to hit it somewhere. And by the time the ball has left their strings and you've started processing the direction, you're already late. The window that matters is the moment your opponent is about to swing. That's when your eyes should be on them, not the ball. Specifically, on the shoulder rotation, the hip position, and the angle of the swing. Because those three things tell you where the ball is going before it leaves the racket. The shoulder opens wide, cross court. The shoulder stays closed and drives through toward the net post, down the line. The swing path goes steeply upward, heavy topspin. The swing is more horizontal, flat and fast. Players who seem to always be in the right place are not psychic, and they are not faster than everyone else. They shifted their gaze from the ball to the hitter at exactly the right moment, and they're processing information that the ball itself could never give them that early. Start practicing this in your next hitting session. When the ball crosses the net to your opponent, move your gaze from the ball to their hitting shoulder. Watch the shoulder, not the ball, until the swing starts. Then the ball becomes obvious. It'll feel uncomfortable for the first few sessions. You'll misjudge a few. Stay with it. The rewards show up fast. 2. Their feet tell you everything. The shoulder rotation is the most powerful signal, but it's not the only one. And for balls that arrive faster, serves, hard drives, balls hit from close to the net, you won't always have time to read the swing in detail. That's when you read the feet. Foot position at contact is one of the most reliable directional signals in recreational tennis. Not perfect, not infallible, but reliable enough to give you an edge on a significant percentage of balls if you train yourself to notice it. Here's the pattern. When a player sets up in an open stance, feet roughly parallel to the baseline, body facing forward toward the net, the cross-court shot is almost always the natural result. The hip rotation and the arm path from an open stance both favor cross-court. Going down the line from an open stance requires an extra body adjustment that most players under pressure don't make. When a player closes their stance, stepping in with the front foot pointing toward the net post or down the line, that's the setup for a down-the-line shot. The body is already pointed there. The swing follows the body. Neither of these rules applies every time. Good players mix it up deliberately. But at recreational level, the correlation between foot position and shot direction is high enough that reading the feet in the last half second before contact gets you moving toward the right zone more often than not. And more often than not is what tennis is built on. Watch for foot position during your next match. Not constantly, just on the balls where you have a moment to observe before the contact. Build the habit of glancing at the feet during the setup phase. Over a few months, it becomes automatic, and the anticipation starts to feel like instinct rather than observation. And if you want to take your tennis to the next level, check out the Tennis Master Pack. A pack that includes the Elite Player Guide, with technical and tactical tips. The Become a Pro Guide, where you'll learn how to become a pro tennis player. A full-week fitness routine to take your fitness to the next level, and a prevention routine to prevent injuries and enhance recovery. This pack already helped hundreds of tennis players. Get your clicking on the link in the description. Let's continue with the video. 3. Every player has a pattern they run on important points. No player plays randomly. Under pressure, every single player, regardless of level, defaults to the shots they trust most, the serve they've hit 1,000 times, the forehand direction they go to when they need a point, the pattern they run when they're up 30-40 versus when they're down. These habits exist in every player and they show up in every match. Most people just never look for them. The first few games of a match are the most valuable information source you'll ever have about an opponent. Not because the tennis is important yet, but because the patterns are running unguarded. Before the match gets tight, before your opponent is thinking carefully about mixing things up, they're playing their default game. And their default game tells you everything about what they're going to do when it matters. On their serve, do they go wide on the deuce side under pressure, or do they go down the tee? When you push them to the backhand, do they rip it cross court or push it back? When they're at 40-30 and comfortable, what shot do they go for? When they're at 30-40 and tight, what do they default to? These patterns are there in almost every player. The ball that beats you on the big point in the third set was probably there in the first set too. You just weren't collecting the data then. Make a decision at the start of every match. For the first 4 games, you are gathering information as much as you are competing. File what you see. By the time the match gets serious, you'll know things about your opponent that they don't know about themselves. 4. The backswing shows you the speed before the ball arrives. This one gives you time you didn't know you had, and it changes how you feel in rallies once it becomes part of how you watch. The backswing tells you the pace before the ball is hit. A short, compact backswing, racket doesn't go much further back than the hip. Take back is quick and controlled. Almost always produces a fast, flat ball. The contact is going to be firm, early, with not much swing time to generate spin. Expect pace. Move your feet earlier. Shorten your own takeback to handle the speed. A long, looping backswing. Racket goes well behind the shoulder. Takeback is slow and exaggerated. Almost always produces a heavier, slower ball with more topspin. You have time. Your setup can be slightly more deliberate. The ball is going to bounce high. The reason this matters is preparation time. If you can identify the pace category of the incoming ball while it's still on your opponent's strings before it's even been hit, you've added a fraction of a second to your entire reaction chain. That fraction of a second is enough to take one extra adjustment step, set up slightly better, and make contact from a more controlled position. It takes a few sessions to start seeing the backswing reliably, but once you do, you'll wonder how you ever rallied without using it. In this video, I show you how to improve your footwork and become a fast player. I recommend you watch it after this one. 5. Watch where they look, not where they stand. Last one. And this is the most advanced reading skill in the whole video, but it's also the one that produces the most dramatic results once you train it in. Most players, in the fraction of a second before they swing, glance at their target. It's involuntary. It's the same thing you do. Your eyes flick briefly toward where you're intending to hit, and then you look back at the ball for contact. It happens fast. Most players do it without knowing, and it leaks information that you can read if you're watching for it. The direction of that quick glance, even at recreational speed, even in the middle of a rally, is almost always consistent with where the ball goes. The eyes don't lie. They go where the intention is. And if you can catch that glance in the moment before their swing starts, you've read the shot before it's been hit. This isn't something you can focus on constantly. The processing load is too high for every ball. But in the moments of the match that matter most, second serves, big points, moments where you've been struggling to read a particular player, catching one eye movement can shift the point completely. Train it in practice by watching your hitting partner's face during rallies rather than their strings, not their eyes specifically, their face. When the glance happens, you'll catch it in your peripheral vision. Over time, the habit sharpens, and that sharp habit in a tight match is the difference between a guess and a read. 5 signals that tell you where the ball is going before it gets there. Switch your gaze from the ball to the hitting shoulder at the right moment. Read the feet. Open stance means cross court. Closed stance means down the line. Use the first few games to collect patterns you'll use in the third set. Read the backswing to know the pace before contact. And catch the eye glance to read the intention before the swing even starts. None of these are natural at first. All of them become natural with deliberate practice. Pick the one that feels most accessible right now and take it into your next session, just that one. See what it changes. Drop a comment telling me which signal you're going to start training. I read everyone. Subscribe for more of this. Blue Tennis Dude. See you in the next one.